Okay, we're going to officially start our meeting, and could we all rise for the pledge of allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Wow, that's great. Hearing this not on Zoom is so much better. You can. Yes. Our next is going to be the prayer for the day, and Chris is going to do that.
This day is just the beginning. Give us time for patience, for understanding, time to remember thoughtful deeds to do, time to believe in all fellow men, and time to perceive the value of having Rotarian friends. Amen.
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 Okay, and one more.
All right. Dog of the day. If you're going to do something tonight, you'll be sorry for it tomorrow morning. Sweet plate.
All right. Great. Okay, you can all sit down.
You gave it to the right one to say today.
I don't want to sing. You know who Henry Youngman is? Oh, yeah.
I was
So we do have a lot of guests with us today, and we will start our speaker and the past district governor and now Rotary Foundation Chair for District 5170. Don't get up, that's all right. I'll give you a bigger one later.
all right, that's okay.
Okay, and then I'm sorry, I just heard, yeah.
Bill Ellington,
Mhm.
Campbell Rotary Club. Bill Hiley from Campbell Rotary.
Okay,
Emily Hiley, Willow Glen Business Association.
okay, and you're Barbara, right?
Yeah.
Welcome back, Barbara. Okay.
Hello.
Oh, I'm sorry. The most important person.
Introduce your important guest?
Okay, this is guest of Rotary. And then, okay, Rotarians with guests.
Just
This is my friend Hayden Tavernier.
Hi.
Her dad is Ken Tavernier.
Say hi, Hayden.
Hey.
Hayden's out early.
Okay, and then we do have another guest. Jeannie. Yeah. This is my name. Jeannie is really the person we deal with for Relay for Life. It's one of our donations we did in our endowment. We gave a couple grand this year. And here are some pictures of the people who walked. We were part of a group. So can you just come up here and just, I know. I always put her in these pictures.
He always tells me to come, he doesn't tell me to speak. So this year we had a small but mighty crew. I believe that we had about 18 people signed up on our team. So it was a smaller event, of course, because of COVID. However, with your help, our team has raised almost $10,000. So we're working on a video to kind of wrap up our Luminary night. We did something special this year. We had our Luminary event separate from our walk. It was the night before in downtown Santa Clara. Everybody loved it, and it sounds like we may continue to do that in the future. So we're working on a video of that, which I will send to you that you can share. And also as a token of our appreciation, I brought some t-shirts. So please come back and see me and grab a t-shirt before the speaker starts. And then also anybody that dedicated a Luminaria when I was here the last time, I brought those back. Those were on display that night. So you may take them and just let your family members know or friends know that you supported them at this event. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So everybody here is invited to take a t-shirt. The last time she did this, I had them, I carried them around for weeks and I couldn't get rid of them. So if you guys want a t-shirt, feel free to go up there and get your size.
I don't want to store these.
Yeah. And I'm trying to de-escalate my garage. Okay. Okay, we have a lot of things going on. A lot. But before that, I forgot to welcome, we have a guest on Zoom, Gordon Smith. So,
Hi.
Gordon, you can talk now.
Hi, welcome everybody. Thank you for the invitation.
All right, great. Gordon's a friend of one of our members, Miles Yamamoto, and also he's one of the members of the San Jose Japanese American Museum, which is another group that we gave some money to this year. And they do a lot of things for high schools and grade school, elementary schools.
Educational outreach.
Yeah. So thank you, Ken. So we have a lot going on. First of all is our, we're calling it Chris Chavez Day. Chris, go ahead.
Okay, so we got the Chris Chavez Day, which is me, because I'm indigenous, right? Yavapai Yaki Apache. Okay, we got all three of those, plus the Italians in our community, Christopher Columbus, which I am also part of that community. So I'm really,
You're everything.
I have a lot going on in my head. But yeah, so Almaden Valley Swim and Racquet Club is where November 13th.
And it's $40 a person?
$40 a person. You could bring $15 wine or less. We're gonna do a blind wine tasting. Whoever brings the best bottle is gonna win a fun prize. I also have a sign-up sheet for anyone who wants to join. There's just a few things that we can use some help with. There's decorations, maybe like an Italian-style salad to share with our entree, water, and then dessert. So if you can, awesome. If not, no worries. But you can put your name and
Can you
your
put
phone
my
number.
name down for decoration?
I shall. Thank you so much. And setup time for that is going to be 5 p.m.
Could we spouses?
Yeah.
Yes.
absolutely.
Oh, yes. This is a
Exactly
joint
what
thing.
it is. Oh, yes, absolutely.
He is Italian, so.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
One of the members, all my kids might come, we'll see what happens, so.
No.
And also, so the idea about the wine, I got done this at some parties, so it can't be more than $15, and we're just gonna put them in a paper, like lunch bag, and then we're gonna have them out on a table, and we're just gonna sample them, so it's a great way to try wine that you've never had. So, but there's a caveat, because I've been to many of them where I got this bottle of wine for free, that doesn't count. So you can have a great bottle of wine that you did get for free, but it doesn't count. So just whatever. So anything that you know is like $15 or less, and it's just kind of a fun way to drink wine and hang out.
Right. And it's kind of interesting. I've done this before. It's like the cheap wine gets the number one.
Yeah. And the fire pits and the heaters will work out.
Yeah.
I believe so,
Yeah.
yeah.
No, I mean, I'm just
can go
thinking,
and
I mean,
check the
it'll be
restaurant.
warm. If not, we'll drink some portable ones.
A rep from the swim racket's not here.
Yeah. he's not-
The head doctor.
Okay. That's right, Jerry. Jerry just couldn't show up today. Jerry's going through chemo and he's been coming to our meetings and like he's this Superman, like 80-year-old, walking every day, getting chemo. So he's our hero. So our thoughts and prayers are with him. I think he's okay. He said he's okay. Just some heart thing. That's all he
Very
told me.
big, but it's hard.
But, yeah. Okay, on November 18th, we're going to have a Veterans Day. I got Frank in charge of that, and he told me he's gone right now in the National Guard. He's still in the National Guard. He's got a couple of speakers for that. The 25th, no meeting. I'm sure you guys don't want to come here on the 25th. I'm sure they're not open. In fact, in December, I don't think we are going to have any meetings because we got so much going on. December 2nd, no meeting, but the 3rd, we have the first senior lunch that's being done by our member Trung Ho. This is a senior lunch where we cook steaks for them at the Santa Teresa Senior Center. We've been doing this for since the 80s. Some people, one person was there from the beginning and keeps coming up to us all the time. It's traditional that we have been doing. And so please be prepared. If you're going to have Baker and Ken call you and Tron ask them to come and serve. So what we really need is servers and a couple barbecuers. We did it last year. We're going to do the same thing. It's going to be drive-by, which was fun. So my jacket got burned, but that's okay. I was too close to the barbecue. But we're going to do that December 3rd at the Southside Community Center on Santa Teresa. And is it on Santa Teresa?
So from 10 or 11 until when?
Usually it ends about 1:30, would you say? Yeah.
Yeah, it's even maybe even sooner than that now because they're driving.
Yeah, they're just driving
Yeah,
by.
I mean, even if you could show up, I mean, especially, I would say the one that you really should show up for is the Willow Glen one, because that's the most important
Okay.
one.
That's the one that you're in charge of.
So, I mean, even if you can just show up for an hour, because basically we're still waiting to hear back from the community center about if we can help them prep the boxes and put everything in there to go, like a to-go box.
Right.
So we don't even know that aspect of it, about in terms of food handling and all that. So more details to follow, but just, I mean, put it on, it's fun just to watch people come by, and depending on how many people, we typically have at Willow Glen, I mean, it's always kind of the same between 125 and 175. So we'll see how that works. And we may have Santa there in the line, and then also Elvis again. So we'll see.
Traditionally, everybody comes in and sits down and eats. But last year, obviously, we did a drive-through. And this year's gonna be the same, where we hand out the prepared.
Right.
Thank you very much.
And if you have folks that, if you have friends or folks that you know, neighbors that go to that community center, just make them aware of the date, because I think sometimes communication from those centers isn't as great as it has been, especially with people not being able to go. So just let them know about the date so that they can sign up. And it's completely free to the members. I know in Willow Glen, they never charged an upfront amount, but they did at Southside several times, where it's like you pay $5 and then you get your $5 back when you show up, just as a way to make sure that you're not signing up and not coming. So we haven't done that at Willow Glen. I'm not sure how that'll work, but anyways, just let people know that we can. And it will, I mean, it has sold out in the past, but I don't know if there's capacity to shoot it. Should be good.
Okay, and so that's December 10th. December 9th, we're not having a lunch meeting, okay? But we might be having a dinner meeting. We just don't know where. So we're thinking of having a Christmas party, social event where.
It will be December 9th.
Okay, it will be December 9th. We just don't know like how. I was thinking of Britannia Arms. There is that back room. Were you there when we did the wine thing? That's pretty quiet back there. So there's Britannia Arms that we can do. And then we're still talking to Palermo's.
Yeah, I wanted to have a selection.
Okay.
Yeah, can you reserve that area for them now, Jim?
Yes, I spoke to the gentleman yesterday.
That's actually nice because they have heaters. It's market.
They're also doing karaoke at 8 p.m. that same evening.
Oh.
Well, there, we got our entertainment.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, and then, so there won't be a meeting on December 6th because, we're doing all up, and plus we have a dinner. And then the 24th, just right here. The 24th, of course, we're not having a meeting, but January 2nd we are, so, okay. I think it's January 2nd.
January 2nd is a Sunday.
Okay, it's not January 2nd. My wife has a calendar in her head, and I should say, what's Thursday, first week of Thursday?
That would be the 6th.
The 6th, January 6th, we are. Okay, and I think that's, we already talked about the Relay for Life, and I got some pictures here and stuff. Is that our?
That's our president.
All right,
On the big screen.
okay. So let's get some words.
Yeah, Barbara's got the.
And how about you, Ryan?
Yeah, she put it
Oh, okay.
there. All right, so let's stop share, and now we have some words from our president. Here we go. You're on.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we gotta turn it up a little bit. Just hold on. How do you think?
Professional
There.
I haven't
Okay,
checked yet. I
Steve.
got to get on a call right now, but I'll check it after.
Ryan, you can use the volume on your phone.
All right, hold on.
How's that?
Keep going.
Hello?
Testing.
Testing.
Yeah.
Testing. 1, 2.
Okay.
How's
All right,
everybody
you're
doing
on.
today?
Great.
Good, good, very good.
How many folks do we have today?
A lot. Every seat is taken.
Cool. I see Wendy Mariani. Very good.
11, 12.
I'm impressed.
Move on, Dave, move on.
Is your competition here?
Yeah.
Wendy, is your competition here today?
Yes.
Emily is not my competition.
Oh my God.
Hi, Emily. How you doing?
I'm good, Dave, thank you.
Good to meet you virtually, but we'll see you next week physically.
I look forward to it.
Is there any late breaking news, Brian?
No.
So we've done all the
Yeah.
we've done the intro meeting, we've done the announcements. We're just eating now.
Yes. All
Okay,
right.
well I'll stay in the background then while you guys eat. I'm gonna eat too.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Mr.
Thank you.
President. Okay, I'll depin you.
Thank you.
Okay, so right now we can all enjoy our meals, and then at 12:45 we'll start with the speaker. Okay.
Anybody want shirts?
Oh,
Yeah,
hold on.
take 'em. Come on, you guys.
I'll hold up.
See what I tell you?
It was lighter than I thought it was
Oh,
gonna
good.
be.
All right.
We probably had 200. Some of it had like 4.
Okay, we're ready for our speaker today. Most of you know him because we're all been around. I think he was the district governor when I was president in 2017. And now he's been the foundation chair for the District 5170. He's talked to us. This is especially for newer members like Jesse and Wendy and Dave Olson on Zoom. Is to get to know, part of it being a Rotarian is not only doing all the fun stuff and the little things we do here, it's doing big things in the foundation with other folks. So in addition to being a Rotarian, he's been to many other community groups. He's an active member and past president of the Rotary Club of Cupertino. And as part of the club's international service activity, he has participated in 11 project trips to Mexico, China, India, and Central and South America. So he has done a lot. He also has been on the city council and mayor. He's got some experience in that. And so let's give a warm welcome to Orrin Mahoney.
Good to be here. Good to be back here. Last time it was about 100 feet down the road here.
Yeah.
But back here for the Almaden Club. So yeah, I am here to talk about the Rotary Foundation this afternoon, and give a little background on what it is and an update on some things that are going on there. So especially for the
It was working fine.
No, I know. But then what I had to do is share with computer sound. That's what I wanted to do. Oh, let's do it this way. Yeah. All right. So just some basics. What is the Rotary Foundation? It's Rotary's charitable arm. It's our 501c3. It sounded like earlier you guys have your own foundation here. Do projects. So most of our international projects are done through the Rotary Foundation, and you'll see why because of some help if you get it there. So in order to provide more impact on the projects that the foundation does, a few years ago, quite a few years ago, they selected these distant areas of focus. So everything could kind of be in one of these, whether it be clean water or local economies or whatever. And those lasted for a while, but just last year, the environment was added. And so as of July 1st, you can actually do a global grant project. I'll talk about that more about what that is in a second, in the environment. And we've got clubs that are already have those in the hopper and are ready to do that, especially in this area. And we think it's going to be more attractive for people to join Rotary because there's a lot of, especially younger people that are interested in this area. So, you know, we're here to talk about raising money, but the reason why we're really here is to do projects. This district raises a lot of money. We raised $900,000 for the foundation last year. And we use that money. We do a lot of projects. So the last couple of years, we've done $2.5 million with the projects around the world. And I'm going to just show you one of them, one of the larger ones that we've ever done. I'll show you a little video on it. Hopefully it's going to work. Sound.
What has been meaningful for us is to take something like oxygen and to be able to take this life-saving, focus on how we can take this life-saving drug and make this available to the developing world where it's simply not available.
Outside developed countries, children under the age of 5 die every year due to pneumonia.
Hospitals in these settings are challenged by many conditions, and I think providing oxygen has been one of those very challenging things to get to happen.
It's actually outrageous that almost 1 million kids die every single year because of pneumonia. It's something that actually can be solved. There are some simple solutions. We just need to get them to where these kids are.
Because of the scarcity, because of the shortage, we prioritize patients to give oxygen. This patient may survive longer without oxygen supply when it is compared with this patient, so they may probably prefer to give oxygen to this guy.
Ethiopia became the perfect place to go because it was already a receptivity by the leadership.
Hi, my name is Osea Lugo. I'm a member of Castro Valley Rotary Club. I'm also a spokesperson for the Breathing for Life project that has brought medical oxygen to Ethiopia, even to the town of Nejo, and to the Oromia region where I was born in.
In July of 2016, the Castro Valley Rotary Club met to plan the way forward, and by November, our delegation traveled to Ethiopia, where we signed agreements with the Regional Health Bureau and the Fino Rotary Club. Then the team was off to Nejo for meetings, and the site was assessed, measured, and designed. In 2018, Rotary International approved the project, and work began. The plant was built in the U.S., where Assist International leveraged to double the production capacity from 900 to 1,800 cylinders per month at no additional cost. Construction in Nejo continued with funding provided by the Oromia Regional Health Bureau. The plant arrived in Ethiopia on March 15th this year and was set and secured in place with added assistance from community volunteers. The final phases of construction were carried out and the power supply installed. In August, the engineers and technicians were appointed and training for operations and maintenance was completed, and the Nejo Oxygen Center began to produce oxygen.
So, yeah, all right. So I'm going back to the basic elements of the Rotary Foundation. There are three basic elements. There's the annual fund, and I'll talk about that. And then there's Polio, which hopefully most of the members know by now. That's, Rotary's overarching activity. And then there's the endowment, which most people don't know about at all, but we're learning more about that at the district level and doing more. So let's start with the annual fund. It's the primary funding mechanism for both our local and international projects. And what's interesting about the Rotary Foundation versus other charities is the money comes back. So right away, half of it comes back to you in the form of what's called DDF or district designated funds. So one half of all the money that this club donates, the Rotary Foundation, comes back 3 years later, in the form of district designated funds. And the way we do it in this district is that goes back to the club. It goes back to the club in proportion to how much you gave. So the more you give, the more you get. But that's just a start, because the rest is used to match funding for global grant projects. So it seems like magic. What charity can you give to where you actually get more back than you donate? And the only one I know of is the Rotary Foundation. And here's an example of how that would work. Let's say a club donates $20,000 to the Rotary Foundation. A little heavy for your size club, but let's say a club that did that. As I said, half of that comes back as district designated funds right away. So now you've got $10,000 of DDF that came back. And let's say you're going to do a global grant. You could take another $10,000 that the club would have raised. In our district, there's something called Max to Match, where you can buy DDF, and you can buy $8,000 of DDF. So now you have $18,000 of DDF, which gets matched if you use it in a global grant. It used to be matched dollar for dollar, now it's matched 80 cents on the dollar, but you still get a $1,400 match. So you've got a total project that's $32,000 when all you put in is $30,000. So it's not magic. And we don't print money in the Rotary Foundation, unlike the federal government. The way we do that is if you don't do a global grant and you do a district grant, you don't get a match. So you're basically leaving that money on the table, and the people at the global grants pick it up and get that benefit. So this is what your clubs look like over the last couple of years. The annual fund contributions are there in the center. You've already got a really good head start on this year. Again, for the size of the club, your per capita is pretty reasonable, whatever. So a lot of club, as I said earlier, we donated $900,000 to the Rotary Foundation last year as a district, which is a lot of money. It put us in one of the top districts in the world. But what we didn't have is everybody donating. And what we want to do is do that. We want everybody to be engaged in the Rotary Foundation. So there's this concept of every Rotarian every year, and a club that achieves ERE-Y status has everybody in the club donate at least $25. That's all. And when we were all on Zoom, that was easy because you were saving $25 a week just on your lunch alone. And to encourage that, you'll see that we'll talk about some drawings that we have. So again, most of the, oh yeah, go ahead.
So is there a amount of DDF you can buy?
That's, as of yesterday, yes.
Okay, all right.
I'll talk about that.
Okay,
here.
great, thanks.
Yeah, that's part of the Max to Match program. I'll talk about that. This last time we made that decision. Did you have a question?
No, I was just
So, I think most of, again, most experienced Rotarians know that after you donate to the Rotary Foundation and your cumulative donations get to $1,000, you become a Paul Harris Fellow. And you get, depending on what happens, you get I don't think these badges anymore, you get a certificate and some other recognition. And above and beyond that, you can go Paul Harris 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, major donor status, which is $10,000. And this is important. It's important to just give over time. The kind of recommended thing is double sustainers, $200 a year. But what's really helps us in the district is the Paul Harris Society. Now, these are people that gave $1,000 in 1 year. And you have, if you looked at that graph I had earlier, there's some people in this club that have done that. Last year in the district, we had 341 people that did that. So that was $341,000, or it was 37% of that total of 900,000. And for less than 10% of the members of the district. So these are really important. And we do have special recognition for those of you that have been to the district conference. There's usually some kind of donor reception down in Glen. There was one out where you recognize those people. So as I said, we do want to encourage both total giving and we want to encourage RUI. So last year and this year we had 2 drawings. So the club that has the most contributions to the annual fund gets the highest chance in the first drawing. You get more chances. And that prize is significant. It's $5,000 in DDF. As we talked about earlier, that can be almost what is worth $9,000 using the Global Grant Project. But because there are clubs like yourselves that are not going to get a lot of points in that big drawing, and we want to encourage the RUI. In the RUI drawing, which is the second drawing, every club, no matter how big or small, if they achieve the RUI status, has an equal chance. And so, the details in that, you'll hear more from your foundation chair. Just wanted to know what was going on there. So that's the annual fund. That's important. That's in our district. We focus on the annual fund in the first half of the year. We focus on polio in the second half of the year. That gets confusing sometimes because October 24th was World Polio Day. And people are saying, well, what are we doing about that? But we raise our money in this district in the second half of the year. But I do want to talk about polio to bring you up to speed on what's going on, because there's some really good things going on. These are the wild polio cases in the world for the last 6 years, as it turns out. So as you see, we're making some good progress there, and then in 2019 and 20, it blew up again. And there were only 2 countries left. If you look back in 2016, there was a little green bar, that was Nigeria. You see that's not there anymore. That's because Nigeria has now been declared to be polio free, and it won't show up here. But the last 2 countries, Afghanistan and Pakistan, are tough countries to do business in, obviously. So in 2021, you see there's a little bar there. Is that like real or is that imaginary? And the answer is it's real. So as of the 27th of October, which is about a week ago, there's still just 2 cases, one in Afghanistan and one in Pakistan. So, we finally, and every time the report comes out every week, everybody's got their fingers crossed and prayers, whatever, that this is still being true, and it is. And so one of the things that a lot of people were worried about was with Taliban and Afghanistan, what's going to happen there. And we've got some good news on this came out last week and I suspected that we've been working with the Taliban all along to do some of the stuff that we've been doing, because you can't do stuff in the remote provinces there. But now it's official that the Taliban has agreed to allow the polio vaccination program to restart. And as important, really, they've agreed to allow the women who are doing most of the work there to continue to be the frontline workers, and they'll be providing security for those workers. Now, the reason this is important is in March of this year, in Afghanistan, 3 polio workers, women, were murdered doing their job. So, so for them to now, and it obviously wasn't by the Taliban, it was one of the other, pick up the paper and pick up the group there, but the Taliban to do the security support. So they're planning next week a 5-day campaign to reach 10 million more children, and then they're going to do another one in December. So fingers crossed that we're going to start the count. It's 3 years until you declare a country polio free. So hopefully maybe this year, but maybe next year we can start that.
Can I ask a question about the statistics? So you went from 140 to 1.
Yep.
are these just identified and we haven't reached everybody in the particular countries?
Well, that's a good question. You know, I've asked that question. Other people have said, no, we were still doing, you know, and still, I mean, it's if you know that there's a wild.
So the numbers go up, it doesn't mean there's an outbreak, it's just identified.
It means.
Like the numbers gone down, so it's leading people to believe.
In the last 2 years, it probably means there was some kind of outbreak, you know, it's transmittable through water and all of that. It's a little different than a COVID type thing. But the other thing that's different from a COVID type thing is like, you know, we're hoping that 90% people get vaccinated. Here it's like 100%.
So which, I get polio vaccine, but what, if the last slide that you did said that women are on the front line and there's 10,
yes.
They're trying to reach 10 million more people. Well, what percentage of people have they reached?
I don't know specifically, but so for example, in India, which has been declared polio free, they're still out there doing vaccinations. And actually, without getting into too much detail now, in the more developed countries, they're actually they've switched to a different vaccine that's done by injection. These are the first main ones here are all done by drops, you know. And the ones that are done by drops still have some potential polio virus, and they can actually get polio that way. So gradually we're shifting. We can talk about that. So again, the campaign is done in the spring for polio. But one of the interesting things is there's this whole infrastructure that was set up to track and measure and do that, and that was all being used during COVID-19 pandemic to work on other diseases, but work for other diseases. So the endowment, this is something we haven't focused on. We haven't focused much on the Quest Society, you know, putting Rotary in your estate plans or just outright gifts. But we saw the power of this a few years ago when we had somebody, a non-Rotarian, actually donated $4 million to the Rotary Foundation from our district. So all of a sudden, then we realized that could also generate DDF and come back to the district and do projects, and so we've got an increased focus on it. So basically, you know, the endowment is your legacy. I've already talked about how if you give an annual gift today, it makes people's lives better today. But in the endowment, it'll change lives forever. So if you do give money to the endowment, either as a direct gift, and we had somebody in the district last year that became an Arch Flunk Society member, that meant they gave $250,000 to the Rotary Foundation as an outright gift. And we have people that have done, you know, $1 million in their estates. You can do it for different things. You can do it for polio, you can do it for the peace centers, you can do it for something else. But if you do it for share, just like the annual fund, that DDF will come back into the district, and then our district goes back to the club. So if you want to leave a lifetime legacy for your club through the Rotary Foundation, there's a way to do that.
Oh, can I ask a question?
Yeah.
So does that, you may have covered it. So let's say there's a little bit of an exodus from the state. So I did the gift, right, a state gift or whatever, and then I moved. Like Roger and Andrew Hassel, we moved.
Right.
So does the money that they pledged or whatever, not to be too specific, but they're not on Zoom right now. So does that benefit our district, or does that benefit a new district in Iowa?
We're checking that out.
Okay, all right.
We have a new person this year that's in charge of our Bequest Society that's at the district level. And interesting enough, so we went through all the people that are on the list for our district. And that's exactly, so there's some that we know aren't in the district anymore, and we don't even know, you know, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And there's one that's in my club that I go, you know, he left the club on not great ground, so that it's not still there. So we're actually going one by one and checking it out, and the Haslams are on the top of the list. You know, just, you know, I don't know whether, you know, they went to El Dorado first and then now.
Yeah.
I think hopefully their heart is still here. And the projects will come back here.
Right.
Good question.
Thanks.
Okay, so I talked about a major donor. Major donors when you get to be, you know, $10,000 in cumulative gifts. Request Society, which is a way to include it in your estate plan. You can be a member of the Request Society for as little as $10,000. That's in your estate, so nothing out of your pocket. And then I talk about Paul Harris Society, which is $1,000. Well, what would happen if you were a major donor and a member of the Request Society and a Paul Harris Society member? Then in this district, you would participate in our Triple Crown program, and you would get one of these lovely crowns at the district conference, at the major donor event at the district conference. And so that's just some fun we had this year. So again, the whole reason we raise the money is to do grants. And there are two types of grants that are done, and they're district grants, and those are just for local projects. You can give a high school senior a scholarship, you can send somebody to Camp Riley, you can paint a fence, fix up a house, whatever. No minimum dollars, can be local or international. Most of them are not international, though some are. But you don't get any matching, like all that good stuff I talked about earlier from the Rotary Foundation. Now with Max to Match, we do take some of the extra matching that we get from the Rotary Foundation and give it for district grants. So you get a 25% kicker. In other words, if you have $1,000 of DDF that you're going to use for a district grant, you get $1,250. But all the power is in the global grants, like I talked about earlier. But the power comes with work. So they must be international. They're a minimum project size of $30,000, so they're big projects. As I said earlier, that one that I had the video, that was a $500,000, ended up as a $500,000 project. And there's a pretty formal process. You have to do a needs assessment, do a sustainability analysis. And that's important because these projects, if you're doing these projects in Ethiopia, for example, or India or Cambodia or some of the other places, so we have active projects going on. Even though you've got a Rotary Club there, you want to be sure your money is well spent. If you want to know more about doing different grants, whether it be global grants or district grants, everything's on the district website. And we've even got now a live spreadsheet there of every global grant that's active in the district right now, whether it's in draft form or submitted or authorization required or whatever. And it's just fun to go and look at, all the different countries around the world, or almost every continent for sure, except for Antarctica. And, every club is taking a lead there in some way. And you can see who's there and who to connect with. And we'll ultimately have trips back on there. One of the great things of really experiencing Rotary is to go on one of these projects and really see how their work is. So finally, in this district, we do global grant scholarships. These have to be it's graduate study at an international university. So, and they're big scholarships. They're $30,000 for one student. And so that's right up there with all the other named Fulbright and all those named scholarships that you know about. Notice it says including TRF match. So I fibbed a little bit earlier when I said all the DDF comes back to the clubs. We'll get this field off at the top to do these global grant scholarships. We've had great luck with candidates the last few years. This is our current candidate. She's at the London School of Economics right now and happened to come from Cupertino. A lot of them come from Stanford, like she did. And it's just a great program. Everybody here gets a newsletter every other month now, which is TRF News, where we talk about these projects around the world. We talk about how the clubs are doing with the foundation, talk about Request Society and all of that. And your money is well taken care of at the Rotary Foundation. 13 years in a row, we've had 4 stars, which is their top rating. And it's not just, the minimal amount of admin costs, but all the other good things that are in there, stewardship and all of that, to make sure, the projects are doing well. So I'm going to close with a video again. Put up with, it's a short one, so put up with the.
I was wondering, when you came on, did you check that video with the computer?
No. Oh. But I don't don't think that just speeds up the video. Usually it's just the computer. When we're done, I'm gonna stay around and fix the problem.
Yeah, no, you did share audio, right?
Yeah, I did that. Oh, and that was important, but yeah, we'll do
Okay,
that,
we're
we'll
just
do
checking.
that after. Yeah. So put up with the little sound effects on.
I just want to say one thing with regard to this, which is what I like. Every single project that we do, there's a Rotary Club in that area that oversees the project.
Right.
We're not just sending money to some village or some government that will take off most of the money and extort it. And like you see aid all over the world, like mostly the guys in charge take it and they use it to kind of manipulate the population. But I mean, that's one thing I really like is that we have boots on the ground like Rotarians that you can go see at the convention and go, hey, like we did a water project with you. You know what I mean? It's like, that's what I like.
Well, and the other thing is every project that we do, it's somebody brought it forward. So that project in Ethiopia, it was hard to tell when she was on, but obviously from the Castro Valley Club. She's a member of the Castro Valley Club. She's from Ethiopia. She's a nurse up at Stanford. And she was the one that said, we got this problem, and I know, lots of our projects, came from somebody that, knows somebody or was had a passion, or we have partner organizations in India and China that we're working. So yeah, your money is definitely coming back to you, for you to figure out how you want to spend it. Like you said, opposed to it's there and somebody spends it the way they think is good.
Raindrops fall from the sky. They may be small, but together they make a mighty ocean. In the same way, your commitment to doing good in the world enables the Rotary Foundation to fund the projects that you care about. Last year, even during a pandemic, of thousands of donors like you gave more than $440 million. Your generosity allowed the foundation to fund more than 2,000 global grants, creating opportunities for people everywhere to respond to their community's unique needs. A $15 donation could buy polio vaccines. A water filter cost only $50, and $100 could provide COVID-19 training. You supported causes such as fighting disease, building strong communities, and promoting lasting peace. So whether you gave $1 or $1 million, you gave help and hope. The people whose lives you've touched, the families, the parents, the children, thank you. And so do we.
Thank you. So I thank you guys for your past support and your community support. Thank you for figuring out how to fix this.
That was the most valuable part of the day.
Can you start over now? I can go back and show that dream for life. So I'm open to questions and we can follow up on some other things.
I was gonna say, we have a joint thing going on with Area 6.
Right.
That we've been doing for the last, 10 years or so, where we do joint projects. And Bill Bynum, who's in Maui right now, enjoying his life, is our international representative for that area. And one time we had, it was when we were in Boulder Ridge, we had a lady from, she was a Rotarian from Nigeria, and she said the reason that Ebola didn't impact Nigeria was because all the water projects we did in there. And so, that's part of what, Rotary does is, and with COVID coming around, we're just like, bring it on.
Yeah, no, it's, so, people now, they're asking more now. People ask, well, what's going to happen after polio? Whatever, what's our next project? And everybody's been very reluctant to do that until polio gets done.
Yeah.
But whatever it is, it will build on the infrastructure that we built, and that infrastructure is there in terms of people. I mean, there was a video that was done, it was a documentary that was done, won an Academy Award that was funded by Google about 10 years ago, called The Final Inch, about the polio eradication program in India. And I've been to India about 3 times, once on business and twice with Rotary. If you've been to India, you know how hard that must have been to do that many people into that, tough an area. And they had a lot of pushback, just like in Afghanistan, Pakistan, from the Muslim community. This is a plot from the U.S. and blah, 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 blah. And they got through it and they did it, And, but it was literally an army of 1 million volunteers, mostly Americans, to do that. So it couldn't have been done without it. And the thing I didn't mention is we still continue to get the 2-to-1 match from the Peace Foundation. So every dollar that we spend on polio, they donate $2, and that's been very beneficial stuff.
But like what you had said, I mean, I went down to Mexico with Peter Anderson from Morgan Hill, and that was close enough for me to go see it, go on a trip. And I'm not going to go to India, maybe not right now, kids and everything. But I would say if you can go to one that's as close as just going to Mexico, I would definitely go just to kind of see what it's all. It's amazing. I mean, I had young kids. I went in there, not a single cell phone, nothing. They're all playing balls in the street, and they're just like what normal, like when I was a kid. It was like such a different experience. It was eye-opening for me and how big of a bang of a buck that we get versus doing projects in here. It was just amazing. And with that being said, I would like to pay for Brian's airfare to Afghanistan.
So I just following up on that. So our club used to do a wheelchair project in Mexico, and that was we called it our starter trip, because again, we had a lot of trips to China and India and Africa. Like this team that's over in Ethiopia now, they're staying over, in Uganda and seeing the apes and blah, blah. But on a wheelchair trip, you can do it in a long weekend. So having said that, just our current district governor, he has a district wheelchair project, not through the foundation, because they don't match wheelchairs anymore. But we think we're going to do three full containers of wheelchairs, and the wheelchair foundation, which he's very well connected into, is matching dollar for dollar. So we just sent a check for the first container, which is going to go to Mexico City, and then the second one's going to go to Monterrey, Mexico, and then the third one's going to Serbia because they're working at a thing with Serbian basketball player, blah, 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 going on there. So, but yeah, those first 2 trips will be simple trips, and did one a few years ago. So again, that's a great one. And when you put somebody in a wheelchair that doesn't have a wheelchair, you take it for granted. If you get a wheelchair, you get a wheelchair. That is not true around the world. So you take somebody that's been falling on the ground or being carried all around and put them in a wheelchair, that's a big difference for you and for them. So,
I have kind of a side question. Yeah. One of your folks that ran the foundation, Cecilia Backer, I know she left Rotary and went to the Peace Corps.
Peace Corps, yeah.
And I just wonder where she is now.
Well, she is in Italy.
Oh, Italy.
Oh, she made it back that way at least a little bit.
Well, she was kicked out of Ethiopia because of COVID. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, no. I mean, the Peace Corps, they just said everybody home, and she really wants to go back there and do that. But in the meantime, she's actually our district stewardship chair. So she came back. She was in an E-Club before, and now she's still in that E-Club. So she's part of the district, but she moved physically to Italy just because she wanted to live outside.
Wow.
Yeah, Cecilia Backer.
Yeah. We're trying to get a chicken coop out of there. We gave her some money and asked her to put our name on there.
Yeah, but she hasn't been able to go back.
No, she hasn't been able to go back. She wants to.
Because she spoke
a couple of years ago.
It was during that long after.
Yeah.
After
they kicked
I've been on, I forget how, 3 trips with her. She was going to the Campbell Club.
Yeah.
And then she kept going on trips with Cupertino and then switched over to Cupertino and then switched to the club.
Did you have a question, Wendy, or? Oh, no.
So you were talking about max and match, or?
I have no questions.
Oh, okay.
Stop feeding, I have no questions.
What about Wendell
Ask me.
Stevens?
If I have a question, I'm asking.
Is he still?
Yeah, he's still in Cupertino.
Is he?
Yeah, he was our president a few years ago.
Yeah. I used to work with him. How's he doing? Good?
Yeah, no, he's doing great. He runs our, not our golf tournament where we raise money, but we do a monthly golf outing. They just did one down on Pebble, not Pebble Beach thing, but there's another club down there and did a whole thing and stopped at someone's house on the way back. I don't want to play golf. Yeah, no, he runs the what we call our affinity groups, our kind of activity. Yeah, Wendell's doing great.
Okay. So, yeah, it's getting late.
Thank you.
And I just want to say, we're trying, isn't it important to get the money in before December in order to do all to get the maximum DDF for that year?
Yeah.
Okay. So, our chair, foundation chair here, Tanner, who I'm helping out. So we should all at least give $25. I mean, the easiest way to go is through my Rotary, because that's, you can do it by credit card.
Yep.
And if not, you can write a check, give it to me or Tanner, and we'll send it on through to the foundation in Chicago. But, we're asking, like, if everybody could just give $25, that'd be great. So we have that every Rotarian every year.
Yeah, that'd be great. He puts in a drawing plus, makes me happy.
Okay, all right, thank you very
Thanks,
much.
guys. No,
See you next week.